We're with John Kelly. John is a personal injury lawyer in Phoenix, Arizona. He's agreed to answer online questions. With that said, John, let's get into the question that was posted. This one was from Jim, and Jim's question was related to what should he do if you're in a car accident on private property. And Jim's specific question was, my daughter's car was recently hit in a shopping mall parking lot. The woman first claimed it wasn't her car, which it turned out to be. My daughter called the police and was told there was nothing they could do since it was on private property, but they did take the other driver's information. This woman does not have insurance. What are the laws relating to an accident like this, and what is your recommendation on how to handle the situation?
Yeah, accidents, thank you for the questions. Accidents that happen on private property actually make it more difficult for the people involved, because police will often not respond to minor accidents that happen on a parking lot, near stores that aren't on the actual municipal streets. That makes the burden on the person that was injured or hurt to actually investigate, document, make sure they get all the statements that they need to present a claim to the insurance companies. So it can be problematic. Now, if there are significant injuries, one thing that will happen is if you call 911, the fire department will respond to private property. And usually the police would follow given that circumstance too. This sounds like it may have been a little bit more minor of an accident. And with that situation, people don't necessarily need to get an attorney involved right away. Now, if it is more significant injuries, private property circumstances would require an attorney to be involved, in my opinion, because there's a lot of investigation that can go on that can be really critical. One of those things is to get video surveillance if it's around a store. Many of these stores, if I hire an investigator, send them out there to get the video surveillance, it can be huge. Also, there may be other witnesses that were involved. If you get on top of that right away, you can track those people down. Photographs can be taken of the scene. We can look at whether the actual roadways on the private property were inherently dangerous, and that could potentially raise some other issues, whether the property owners could have some fault in the accident. So there's some very key things that need to be looked at if there's significant injuries. But if it's a more minor case, like it sounds like Jim's daughter was in, she just needs to be aware that she's going to need to document the accident as much as possible. One thing she could do is, if the other party on scene is admitting that the accident was their fault, she could have them write a statement there saying that it was their fault. You know, exchange information, obviously, insurance information, but get out a sheet of paper and a pen and say, can you actually write this so I can show my insurance company? And many times they'll actually do that. It can be helpful. One last note though, it sounds like the other party, the woman, didn't have insurance that hit her. So this now presents an issue where she is going to have to, Jim's daughter is going to have to use her own insurance to get a recovery, because it's typically not financially beneficial to go after the person for their personal assets, because you have to actually file the lawsuit, go through the whole litigation, get a judgment against them. It's a long process and often too costly for minor accidents. But if she has uninsured motorist coverage in her policy, she'll be able to make a claim against her own insurance company, which is what she would need to do. So she would want to contact her own insurance company or have the lawyer do that for her. So a lot of information for kind of a smaller fact pattern, but there's a lot of things to consider in that one.
Okay, excellent. Well, if you have any other questions for John, all you need to do is post them to the comments section below. He's agreed to answer any of your questions, and hopefully this was helpful, Jim. Thanks
a lot. Anyone can give me a call with questions. My number is 602-283-4122.
Thanks for your time.